do 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 do. Oh, hi everyone. Didn't see you there. Welcome to Climbers today. Do you like playing at detectives? I've got my special detective hat on today. In our story later, we'll be looking into the clues, the evidence, the stories of the people who were around at the time when Jesus came back to life again. If you'd like to play along being a detective today, maybe you could go and grab a silly hat. I've got another one here. Let's pass it on to our jokers on the sofa, Moses and Albert. Have you got some detective jokes for us today, please, guys? Oop.
Whoa! Detective joke challenge accepted. Why do potatoes make such great detectives?
I don't know. Why do potatoes make such good detectives?
Because they always keep their eyes peeled.
Hey, what's a detective's favourite kind of shoe?
I don't know what a detective's favourite kind of shoe.
Sneakers. You know, like for sneaking around, American for trainer.
Why do ducks make such great detectives?
I don't know, why do ducks make such great detectives?
They always quack the case.
What do you call a crocodile detective?
I don't know, what do you call a crocodile detective?
An investigator, like alligator. Have you detected any good jokes lately? If so, send them our way and we'll read them out next week.
Hey detectives, it's Archie here. I've got a really good challenge for you. Where are the Climbers team? In this challenge, the team are all hiding at home. Can you guess who's going to pop up? Will it be Naomi, Ailsa, Joby, Nick or Maxwell? Guess where they're going to pop up from and then shout their name when you see them.
It's Naomi! Hi Elsa! Hello, Joby. Oh, it's Nick. There you are, Maxwell. Great spotting, detectives.
Today's big word, detectives, is evidence. Can you say it? That's right, evidence. It means how we can trust that something is true. Who has eaten all the Easter egg? Is it Moses? The evidence points to Albert. How can we trust it's true that Jesus died and came back to life again? The good news is there is all sorts of evidence. There is the evidence written down by God's messengers. They said what would happen to Jesus hundreds of years before he came. God's special king would suffer and die and rise to life again. We can find these writings in the Old Testament, in the Bible. The Old Testament is amazing. It's like a great big signpost, a big piece of evidence where it all points to Jesus. We'll be discovering another kind of evidence today, the true stories of all the people who actually saw Jesus when he came back to life again.
So for today's Make It activity, we're going to make some happy and sad food faces. And you can make these with whatever you've got at home. So maybe you've got some crackers and vegetables, that would be great. Or you could use biscuits and raisins with some icing, or you can make up your own. And if you haven't got those, maybe even just some fruit on a plate. So here's my fruit. Are you ready to make your food faces? First, make sure that you've washed your hands. Then get your cracker or your biscuit or your plate and ask a grown-up to help you to chop up any fruit or vegetables that you might be using. Next, put some butter or hummus onto your cracker or spread some icing onto your biscuit so the faces will stick. We don't want any noses falling off. Next, arrange the fruit or vegetables onto your biscuit or your plate or your cracker with eyes, a nose and a mouth. Can you make one sad face and one smiley face? Jesus' friends were sad and confused because Jesus' body wasn't there. But then when they saw him and spoke with him, they were so amazed and happy. The happy faces remind me that Jesus being alive is the best news ever.
Okay, detectives, listen out for these things in the story. Who saw Jesus alive again? What did Jesus ask his friends to do with the news that he is alive? Listen out for those things. Today's brilliant Bible story is from Luke chapter 24. You can find it later in a Bible. Today we're going to hear this true story through the eyes of the people who were actually there. First up, here's one of the women who went to the tomb.
I'll never forget that amazing morning when we went to Jesus' tomb and found it empty. The angels had asked, "Why are you looking for the risen among the dead? He is not here, he has risen." The angels reminded us that Jesus had said that he would be handed over to be killed, but that 3 days later he would be raised to life again. Jesus said that all this would happen. Wow! Us women, the first to find out that Jesus was alive. We were so excited we ran to see the disciples and tell them. At first they thought we were talking rubbish, but that was all about to change.
Next, let's hear from Peter, Jesus' good friend and disciple.
I mean, why would the women be making this story up? I mean, was Jesus really alive? I mean, I left everyone and I ran to the tomb to check it out for myself. I did. And when I looked inside, all I could see was the cloth that had wrapped Jesus' body. There was definitely no body there though. And what on earth had happened to Jesus?
Now we'll hear from two disciples who were so sad that Jesus had died. They were on their way to a place called Emmaus.
Our story happened on the road. Two of us were walking to a village called Emmaus. We were walking slowly, feeling so sorry for ourselves. We couldn't stop talking about everything that had happened. Even our faces were super sad. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Jesus, the man we trusted and followed, died and now his body seemed to be missing. Then a man came along and started walking next to us. We didn't even notice him through our tears. But when we did, we still didn't recognise him. I bet you can guess who it really was.
The man asked what we were talking about. I said, "Are you the only person in Jerusalem who does not know what's happened?" "Maybe. What do you mean?" asked the man. "I mean Jesus of Nazareth. He did amazing things and showed people he was a messenger from God. Everybody loved him. Then the chief priests got him arrested for no reason and they killed him on a cross."
We thought he was going to set us all free. We thought he was God's special king. But that all ended 3 days ago. Some of the women reckon they went to Jesus' tomb and his body was gone. They even said they met angels who told them Jesus is alive. Peter went too, and there's no Jesus anywhere to be found. The man smiled and said to us, "Don't you get it? God's special king, think about everything you've been told. God's special king had to suffer first, before everything was made right."
Then he explained everything that God's messengers had said about him, years and years before. It was amazing, and it was all written down. Then we got to Emmaus, to our little house. We didn't want this man to leave, so we said, "Please stay and have a meal with us." The man picked up the bread from the table and thanked God for it.
We just froze and stared. Suddenly we knew exactly who this man was. Of course, it was Jesus. It was really him, he really was alive. Then Jesus vanished. But we knew we had a job to do. We left straight away and went to Jerusalem. His friends needed to know that it was all true. Jesus really was alive.
Well, you know, I'd seen Jesus by now, so I knew he was alive. But just then, Jesus appeared in the middle of the room to us. I mean, how did he get there? We couldn't believe our eyes. We were actually pretty scared, and some of us thought that he might be a ghost at first. But Jesus said to us, "Don't be frightened. Look at me, touch me, poke me. I'm real," he said. "Ghosts don't have skin and bones and all of that. I'm not a ghost," he said. Jesus held out his hands and his feet and moved around the room, and we were blown away. Then he said, "I'm pretty hungry. Could I have some food?" he said. So Jesus, he sat there munching his way through this big fish that we'd caught. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then he said this to us though. He said this to us. "I've already told you everything that would happen to me. Don't you remember what God's messengers said? You know, we Jews, we know all about God's messengers from long ago. God's special king had said would suffer and rise from the dead on the third day. People everywhere need to go through me to get to God so that they can be forgiven. And that starts now. You need to tell everyone everything that's happened. Tell them that it's all true. You see, God is going to send you help from heaven," he said. Heaven, to help finish this job, to tell the world about Jesus. So what we did then is we followed Jesus out to Bethany, and he prayed for us, and he asked God to give us good things. He asked for God's blessing. And as he was praying, God took the risen Jesus away from us to heaven. Well, you know, after that we were all so full of joy and hope. All we could do is just keep praising God for what we'd seen.
So we've got a game for you now. So what you need to do is you've got to imagine you're walking along the road to Emmaus. So have a walk around and then we'll say stop. And you have to stop as soon as you can. And then we'll say go and you've got to walk again. Maybe you could have a bit of a dance whilst you walk. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop. Go. Stop.
So, detectives, were you listening carefully to those people who saw Jesus after he came back to life again? How can we trust that their stories are true? Let's look at the evidence. Our witnesses gave so many details, didn't they? Like Peter seeing the folded grave clothes, the disciples who saw Jesus break bread and eat fish. But the big evidence I'd like us to remember today, detectives, was the way that people were changed by the risen Jesus. Did you notice that? So there were
The women who found the empty tomb.
They visited the grave and they were so upset that Jesus had died. But when they found out that he was alive, they were completely excited and ran to tell the disciples. There were
the disciples who met Jesus on the road.
They'd been so sad. But after they realised it was Jesus that was with them, teaching them, they were the happiest people in the world and they ran to tell their friends too. And how about
Peter, close friend and disciple of Jesus.
Peter started out so confused. What had happened to Jesus? But then he found out that Jesus was really there with his real body, Jesus stronger than death, talking and eating with his friends. Well, Peter thought he would burst with happiness. He and his friends were full of joy and hope. They were changed.
Tell everybody. Tell them the stone's been rolled away. Tell everybody. Tell them they can't delay. Tell them they can't delay. Tell everybody. Tell them the tomb is empty now. Tell everybody. Tell them of Jesus' power. Tell them of Jesus' power. Tell everybody. Tell them about the risen King. Tell everybody. He is alive again. He is alive again.
Jesus still invites you and me to get to know him too. Because Jesus is stronger than death, he can offer us this wonderful new life. This changes things. I can enjoy being Jesus' friend now and look forward to being with him forever one day. So let's spend time getting to know our risen Jesus. Through his word, the Bible, through talking to him, that's called prayer, even through things like watching our climbers videos every week, we'll discover more and more who Jesus is.
Join in this prayer if you like.
Risen Jesus, thank you for all this evidence that you are alive. Thank you that when I say sorry for the wrong I have done, and yes to following you, I can be completely changed. Help me to tell others the wonderful news that you are stronger than death, that you really are alive. Amen.